What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the TeamB Wrestling Show, where we give you all the latest in WWE news and a quick Raw review and in the whole universe of WWE. And I'm joined by my comrade, TeamB member Bill. We're like the club, you know, TeamB. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Raw this past week and the week before. I don't know what to say about it sometimes because, I mean, it was average, okay to watch, but, like, what do you say about it? And this past Monday, Raw opened up with, Chris Jericho coming out there with the highlight reel. I said, really? Do we have to watch? I don't want to see this. But then Big Cass came out and showed how tall he was. So that was really interesting, yeah. So they went back. Yeah, he cut a good promo on Chris Jericho. You can tell he's doing really good with his promo work. His promo work's pretty good, or promo skills, however you say. You know, he's gotten pretty good with that. Because they were saying Big Cass couldn't talk that good or whatever, but I guess he's proving his critics wrong there because, you know, he did pretty good. He's like, I will break you, Jericho. I'm 7 foot tall, yeah.
Well, he cut
WFT soft, you know. Okay.
He cut his promos good. Vince is really high on Big Cass. Vince, this could have Enzo got hurt at the pay-per-view, and this kind of hurt. It's kind of a balance back in between because Vince is big on Big Cass. He thinks Big Cass, you know, he's that typical big 7 foot muscular guy, you know, and Enzo's kind of small, but he don't want to because they're kind of in a balance because they want to see what what Big Cass can do as a singles competitor, but yet they don't want it to be to where he gets pushed and then Enzo gets left behind. So they're kind of in a balance. But I think right now, if you wait and see, I believe in time that while Enzo is out, Cass will get some sort of push they'll give him a small push, kind of see where he's at. But yeah, man, I agree with you.
Little temporary push they can use later on in the solo career because they can't break up that tag team. They're too over. They're over like the like Road Dogg Billy Gunn, the old age outlaws. They're over like they are with the new age. They're over like they are. You know, I thought that was cool. I mean, they come out and they made their debut a few weeks back, and the crowd was into their catchphrases and stuff, and that shows you how many people shows you they're over with the major WWE market. On a higher level. But yeah, man, I was walking to check. Just side note, I was walking to check my mail a couple of hours ago and saw a snake in my driveway, and so I came back in the house and I got my mothballs and I was fucking with him. I was throwing mothballs at him to see if he was alive, and then he's dead. He's dead. But I'm like, did somebody put that in my driveway? Because, you know, I had the crazy neighbor for a while. I'm thinking he got ran over by, 18-wheeler and just happened to slither right there at the edge of the driveway. But I was like, man, somebody left me a present. Because, I woke up so peaceful today. So peaceful, And then I walk outside and see the snake, of course. So I'm like, my first thought is somebody put that there. It's the devil's work, something. So anyway, because it didn't look like he was smashed or anything. He had the flies on him, so he's pretty much dead. And I threw like 3 mothballs at him, hit him pretty hard in the head. I'm like, I can't stand the smell of mothballs. I know he can't either, so he weren't moving at all. So I'm gonna go out there later and take the shovel and just throw him across the road.
Oh yeah.
Just want to make sure that he's dead. I'm like 99% certain he's dead, but I don't fuck with it right now. Ugh. Oh, brown snake. It gives me the willies.
Oh yeah. I imagine so.
Yeah, I've been putting mothballs everywhere now, man, but you have to be careful because you'll stir them up. So I got to get some snake away poison and sulfur stuff put around the house. If I use mothballs outside, it'll stir them up. It's okay to use them inside. I put them around the steps and stuff like that because I don't want them motherfuckers to slither in here. But maybe that's a sign that Randy Orton's coming back. The Viper. Yeah. When's he coming back? Any news on that?
Well, I did read a little bit yesterday. There are rumors that potentially there's a chance that WWE could be. I mean, I did read a rumor where there's a chance that could be that WWE, are kind of running out with time with Randy Orton. Basically because they figured, he's been out for a while and, pretty much he's done all that he could do with them. It's just, take that as a rumor, though, is what I was hearing the other day was he could be let go, which would be a difficult thing for them to lose as far as a face-wise. That was just a rumor that I heard. First rumor I'd heard of Randy being let go. As you saw the other day, big news, after 30 years of working with WWF/E, the Brooklyn Brawler got released from WWE, and that was kind of a big surprise.
I didn't know that one, but back on Randy Orton, though, they're not going to let Orton go because he's star power, and he can have some exciting matches with like AJ Styles and some of the people coming up from NXT. He can just put people over like Jericho does. They let Orton go, they might as well let Jericho go. But I mean, like you said, that's just a rumor. But Brooklyn Brawler, what? That's messed up, man. That was a repo man. He repo your car.
Yeah. He had been with them for a very long time, and he went transitioned. I think back in early 2000s to being somewhere in the back working out. They don't necessarily release the specifics of why that he basically was let go. So you hate to see that because he had been. I mean, I remember him when I was a little boy wrestling with WWE.
Yeah, I grew up on the Brooklyn Brawler. Look, that motherfucker always losing, But he was more of a trainer.
Coming up torn shirts and that hat he wore and them jeans and all torn. It was just funny, man. But he got released along the next day after the big cut on Friday. Or the big cut that they had last week with a lot of the talent stuff. So, did you see also Sandal's big pre-Raw pipe bomb that he put on the pre-Raw show? I don't know if it was this past week or if it was last week's Raw. But
this past week, because he got released last Friday, so it had to be this past week. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, he did. They showed the. He was talking about. Who was going to be, who would he been tag team up next, and people getting a chance and all that kind of stuff. But it surprised a lot of them, because he was talking and they cut his mic off, and then he was over there next to it was one of the announcers that he talked to their headset. He was like, I know they're not going to turn, so he was talking through it, and then he went ahead and left. But he kind of released a little pipe bomb there on the pre-Raw show this past week. So it was kind of funny. So if you do get a chance to hear that, you ought to search that out, Damian Sandow pipe bomb, and hear what he had to say.
Was he at Raw? Was he at Raw, or he did this?
That's what I'm saying. He had a microphone, was talking, on the set of the pre-Raw set with Renee and Booker T and
he must have just walked in, volunteered to be there.
Well, he looked like he had his wrestling gear on, sort of, but the mic and started talking, and then he just went ahead and when he got done talking, he put it up and left. But
I'm ready for him. Yeah, if he's not coming back in a couple of years, I'm ready for him to do a shoot interview, because it's going to be really interesting to hear what happened behind the curtain, because that was one of the most talented personalities they had in a while, and he was good in the ring. I mean, everything he did, he got over with the crowd. The crowd loved him. They chant his name when he's not there. Free Sandow, everything else, and I don't get that. I'm thinking he must have pissed somebody off in the locker room, or something had to happen there, because I mean, it's just it don't make any sense. It don't make sense to get rid of him.
But creative, they ain't come up to nothing with him since really the stunt double thing he had with Miz made it good.
Yeah, but he's over, though. I mean, it seems like the creative will come up with something for him just for the fact that he's over.
But they don't, because you look at Roman Reigns. Sandow was more over with the crowd than Roman Reigns is over with the crowd.
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah, Roman Reigns is champion, and Sandow got released. I mean, to me, it's ridiculous. I think, to me, as I've been watching over the last couple days, reactions to the roster cuts, that Sandow has been the biggest surprise of everybody, and it's outraged quite a few people on social media that Sandow has been let go. So, you know, I think maybe you'll see Sandow creep over to TNA or something for soon, especially if the new company buys them out and goes in and buys them out and takes them over. They'll get
that's a talent TNA can pick up that will make TNA more popular, because they always said if TNA could afford John Cena, it would be the Monday Night Wars again. But, you know, Damien Sandow, that's somebody people still care about and follow. So that would be really beneficial to TNA. Absolutely. You know.
Yeah, because he's one talent that I could see that you wouldn't call garbage that they dumped out, because Sandow, if they used Sandow right on TNA, he could be a good talent. Kind of like what they did with EC3. EC3 coming out of NXT and stuff didn't work out, but they turned him into their top star, basically, in my opinion, on TNA, but when they repackaged him. And, you know, I think they do that. They do a good job of that when they get the right mark. Like Bully Ray. You look at Bubba Ray, nobody would ever thought Bubba Ray as a singles competitor. But when they gave him that Bully Ray gimmick, and then he was with the Aces of Eights and stuff, and the leader of them, they were talking about a while back with WWE that if he was to go back on singles career, to give him sort of that Bully Ray gimmick. I'm like, okay, there you go. And from time to time, actually do the right thing and hit the right, you know, chords with that.
All right, absolutely. Not to get in TNA debate, but my thing with TNA is they got good quality wrestling. They come up with good characters, just the marketing and people just not caring. It's like, in my case, I'll make a good video, but nobody cares. I don't get no views. So that's just the sign of the times, you know, sometimes with certain things. And WWE is still relevant and still around because they've been around for so many decades, I think. It's very difficult for any wrestling brand to start up, you know, in the last decade or so. It's just difficult. And it's not all their fault. I'm not blaming TNA. It's just, you know, it's just the viewership, and you can read spoilers and things like that, you know.
Right.
But, absolutely. But Damien Sandow, people actually, that will definitely, you know, bring some people, viewers over, hopefully. But, so, Steph, get back on Raw for a second. Backstage, you had Jericho talking to Stephanie. He's like, can you believe how I was treated? I got kicked in the face by Big Cass, blah, blah, blah. Are you sure you and your brother are close and stuff? And Stephanie was like, oh, don't try to separate my brother and I. For that, you're going to have a match with Big Cass tonight. So they booked that for the main event, Jericho Big Cass main event. And
but it was just amazing, man, how they, because like I said, Vince is really high on him, you know. But I understood where they were going with that situation with Cass, because they're trying to give him Jericho. That's why I said in my Jericho is good at transitioning new talent. Have you noticed the new talent? Basically, every one of them has fought Jericho since he's coming to the company. Since they've come into the company, I mean, you look at AJ Styles. He transitioned in. Now you see Big Cass. Forever, how long Big Cass is going to be be pushed as a singles competitor. It's going to be good to have Jericho, because Jericho is really good at that. You know, he can basically work with him. That's why I like Jericho. You know, hate his character, but like the fact of how good to be able to transition over with this stuff. You know, so yeah, man, I tell you, he had, like you said, his promo work was smooth. He had the crowd behind him, and then even when he was talking in the back, you remember he had that interview with Renee and stuff. You know, he seemed like he kind of
flirted with her too. Yeah, he even flirted with her a little bit at the end of it. That's what's up. That makes him a likable talent and a likable person on camera.
But Stephanie, getting back to Stephanie, dude, I don't know what they're trying to do with her, but they've kind of lightened her up a lot. I guess she's going to be the face Stephanie now. But at least I'll tell you this: she actually
temporarily, yeah,
she only looks good when she's supposed to be a face, because she looked hot the last couple of weeks. If you notice,
you know why? It's that smile. It's that smile she does. Well,
and that makeup, it's the way they do her makeup and her hair and outfits because she looks good instead of looking trashy. Like when she's the heel and the authority and stuff, but like you said, that's only
temporary. She don't look like she don't look like a dick.
Yeah, because that's only because of when Triple H comes back more than likely. Which newsflash, news on Triple H. Triple H recently, as of 2 days ago, signed a 3-year wrestling deal
contract
with them, so he's going to be wrestling for at least 3 more years with.
But you know what? Well, that's the whole thing with Shane and Stephanie, is to make the fans forget that Triple H has a rematch clause for the heavyweight title. He never asked for his rematch, so that's their kind of way of writing him off TV temporarily. But like I've said before, I think Triple H and Shane McMahon would be a good SummerSlam type of match or feud coming up. Now people are talking about it, but as Darth Sidious said, I have foreseen it. I seen this a while back because I always thought Shane, Triple H, the brothers-in-law, would be like a good feud, family feud thing for WWE. But I think that'll happen. Triple H will eventually come back on camera or something, and him and Shane have a little back and forth or whatever. But
probably.
As far as the Divas had a good match because Charlotte and Flair were talking to Shane, and Shane was like, well, Flair, you banned from ringside and you're banned from the pay-per-view because you've been helping Charlotte in her victories and whatnot. And so Charlotte and Paige, and she should be. She's a good talent. My thing is, I guess creative kind of ran out of things to do because they got Charlotte feuding with Natalya. Natalya was on commentary. Paige and Charlotte had a pretty good match, I think. Couple of botches, but nothing's perfect. But pretty good match. And Ric Flair came walking out there. Then Shane came out there with his music with the security guards like, nope, I said you can't be at ringside. Then, and Paige got the upset. So, I mean, they always love pinning the champion on Raw in non-title matches. I'm so against that, man. Because it's like Paige should be the champion. She just pinned the champion. But no, that's a non-title match. But I don't know. I just don't like seeing the champ getting pinned. But I was glad Paige won, though, because, it's just telling the universe, like, hey, I'm still here. I won a match. She's not going to turn into a Sandow,
Right.
Right.
Well, going back to it, it was funny, the arrogance that Flair was all buddy-buddy with Shane when he was in the back with her. And it shows, too, something about Charlotte that she still feels vulnerable because she feels like she has that need to have her dad out there with her during the matches, which is a good sign of a true heel because the heel always supposed to be the weak one and have to have help to win, which has basically been his MO for being out there with her. But it was funny, too, because Flair was out there all shaking and everything, and he was like wanting him to reverse Stephanie's rule that her, that basically – she, not that he wasn't to be allowed at the pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. And he was like, well, it's the one thing there, Flair, but he says not just that, but and Flair got mad and he, and Charlotte was like, okay, and she got him on out of there. But like you said about Paige has been in trouble with management here as of late. That's how come
is that what's
you haven't seen her as much and you haven't seen her on there. It's not that she's become irrelevant. It's just the fact that she's had trouble with management over the last few weeks and stuff. So they've kind of, whenever how they punish them is they basically keep them off TV or they have these losing streaks where they'll lose clean 2 or 3 times and do it. But that's what
pull an iron sheet on them, make them lose for several weeks to humble them.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but I agree with you. The match was a good match. It showed Charlotte's vulnerability. Natty was outside, and I love the commentary between Natty and JBL and Michael Cole because they were kind of going back and forth. Michael Cole was like, do you think that how would you feel? It was funny when he asked Natty the question. He said, how would you feel if you lost to Charlotte when Ric Flair wasn't out there? And she was like, well, it is a beautiful day in Omaha. Just trying to avoid that. And then it was JBL said something funny, smart to her, and she was just like, it was funny watching her sit when she was sitting there doing commentary with him of her going back and forth because she typically doesn't do that.
Didn't she say something like, well, if you got so many questions for Brett, won't you call Brett? You know,
yeah, I've got him on my speed dial. You know, if you want. Yeah, so it was funny because Natty normally doesn't bite into that, you know, and mention stuff like that. But normally Cole and them don't typically you know, get into those kind of questions you would ask a face to begin with. So, but the match was good, and it was funny, man. Ric Flair come down there and it was like he was going to do something, and then oh, here comes the money. Shane come out there, and all those refs chased him all out, and then, like you said, the cheap roll-up pin. And how many times have we seen roll-up pins the last few weeks? I mean, how many?
I have to. We have to ask Jason Solomonster about that because he keeps up with it on the roll-up finishes. I think there's like 100 of them in 2015 or something like that, or the year before. But he keep up with it. A
match we didn't see Hulu style was Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. They fought. Okay,
says a lot about Baron Corbin because he was on the pre-show at Payback.
Yeah,
about him.
I thought we were going to do a big show with him, but it was a basic match. You know, I mean, Ziggler and him going back and forth, and you know, I mean, it wasn't too big of a deal, and you know, basically, which of course now you see Ziggler won last week, so this week Baron Corbin ends up getting the win because he ends up hitting the end of days on Ziggler for the win. So that was a non-Hulu watched match that come on. That was on there during it. But
I love what they're doing with Zack Ryder. He was talking to Shane backstage, and he's like, "Woo woo woo, man! I had the biggest moment at WrestleMania. I almost won that Battle Royal last week. Give me a shot, man!" And he had a match. He's like, "Well, go out there and prove yourself." And he had a match with Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens he's just great, man. He's a great heel. Things he says. He's like, "Come on, man, you gonna do another stupid internet show? Well, you don't want to fight me, man," and you know, stuff like that. Well, I got to go through this. And anyway, Kevin Owens gets the victory over Zack Ryder because you don't want to bury. Well, I don't want to use the word bury, but you don't want Kevin Owens to lose too much. But it's kind of a awkward situation because you kind of want Ryder to get a push, but I don't know, man. I think he's just like a Ziggler, just put people over type of cat now. But
yeah, I loved all four when all four of them were in there, you know, because
you make bad internet shows, you make bad movies. He can't say about me. Our videos our internet videos are intelligent videos, so KO can't say that shit about us. And I'll be flattered if he did. I'd love for him to tell me I suck. I'm like, hey, Kevin Owens spoke to me. He said I made bad movies.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it because he would tell people off on Twitter in a minute. He don't care, you know. But
somebody on Twitter told Kevin Owens. They said, "Hey, Kevin Owens, you suck. Nobody cares about you." And Kevin Owens replied and said, "Dude, you got like 2 followers." You know?
I know, man. He is. That's why I like Kevin Owens, man. Yeah. He's one of my favorites.
Shut up, Michael Cole. Shut up, Michael Cole. You know, it's great, man.
It was funny. He said, "Say it. It's the Kevin Owens show. Say it, Cole." Cole says, "It's the Kevin Owens show."
But that's what the old school heels used to do. They would talk shit to the commentators out there sometimes. Ric Flair used to do that. You know, he would point at somebody on comment like, "Shut your mouth. Shut up." You know, they'll acknowledge it. And
I miss those heels, man.
Kevin Owens very, very old school with stuff like that, and I respect that because he's a good heel. He's mastered being a heel, absolutely.
And we showed the beautiful. The show next to beautiful JoJo was interviewing the Club, which is AJ Styles, Anderson, and Gallows. And you know, and I like this. I've kind of got my own theories of what they're going to do with the Club, but that, you know, it was funny because they were basically talking, and AJ was saying, "Well, I didn't take the high road and hit Reigns when I could have.
Yeah,
Reigns took the high road and, you know, attacking from behind, and, you know, the Usos hitting him with the chair and stuff." But I like that feud. If they could just keep it going a little longer. I think this feud was one that they probably didn't count on to being long, but I feel like it's got a lot of history and potential with it. Down the road. So I think it's going to be really good. But yeah, and then when he leaves at the end of the night, he said, "Look, I'm going to win the title on my own, but for tonight, the Club is officially back together again." So they've done a little
leave out the work. No pun intended. Bullet.
Yeah.
Bullet beat. No pun intended. I love the Bullet Club though. The club because they're entertaining, man. AJ Styles, Cesaro. That's probably the only reasons I care about Raw recently. Kevin Owens and whatnot. But I don't think Cesaro was on Raw this past Monday. He wasn't on Hulu.
Yeah, he was on Raw because he was. Remember, he was in the 4-way.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
He was watching the match with Sami Zayn.
Watching backstage on the monitor. I remember now. Or on HDTV.
With his little
attire. I like that. People hate on that 007 attire. I like it though. That's my kind of hit man. You know that type.
Yeah. I
like that style. But
he's gonna have some gimmick, man. I mean, he's done come out with headphones on. He's come out with a cape on. Yeah. I mean, he's everything. But I think
the 007 gimmick is cool. And if he ever turns heel, he shouldn't just rip off his tuxedo. He should just rip off his shoe. He should take it off very slowly in the ring, like a heel would do if he turns heel. Like, hey, give me a minute. I got to take this stuff off. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Wait. You know. But I like the 007 gimmick. It's pretty cool.
Up next, you got one you didn't see and I didn't see. Another pre-Hulu match. Fandango with Goldust versus The Truth and
I watched that on WWE's YouTube channel because they put out clips Monday night. I did see it there.
It didn't. I didn't watch it, but it just to me.
Truth picked up the victory. Our Truth.
You see that? What is it? What is it they call themselves?
Gorgeous Truth.
Yeah, I mean, to me that's stupid. I mean, good luck for Fandango getting some airtime. You know, he's kind of like Sandow, where he hadn't had a lot of
he just needs Fandango's great in the ring. He just needs a different gimmick. That's all. I think.
Next, we have the we done talked about the backstage and Charlotte and Paige. Sami Zayn versus The Miz with Maurice. And the reason this came up was because, as you know, Sami Zayn felt like because he defeated The Miz on SmackDown, Kevin Owens and The Miz and them all in there, and they were going to do a triple threat. And well, he felt like he needed a part in it because he said, look, I should have my shot. Look, that we should have a match, and if I beat The Miz, I should be able to be in it, make it a fatal 4-way. But if I lose, then I'll go to the back of the line and I'll start. So they had this match, and I thought this match was pretty good. What about you? Did you like the Sami Zayn and Miz? Because I thought it was actually
that was very good, and Maurice trying to distract them outside, and Sami Zayn's a great performer, but absolutely. But the champ got pinned, but I still liked it and enjoyed it, and I put him in. That made the triple threat a fatal 4-way. But
Maurice is hot, man.
I love Maurice. Always.
I don't realize that I watched her because typically I didn't see a whole lot of Maurice, but I watched her during the show. She could do a little bit more to help him. In her valet, as a valet, but she looks beautiful, man. I did not realize how beautiful she really looked until I actually watched that match with The Miz and whatnot, and it's good that she's trying to be sassy and a little bit as a heel valet would be. But yeah, man, she's a beautiful woman.
She's got that French gimmick down pat. That's how she was when she was on the roster. But she was always like that. Very good. She's a good personality. But because back in the day, I used to be like, would I rather sleep with Maurice or Kelly as far as the blondes go? But I liked Eve Torres back then as far as like want to sleep with.
But
just be perverted for a second. But gotta be careful nowadays. Oh, he's sexist. He's sexist. Like, no, I'm a man, and we mate and stuff like that. We evolution or whatnot, make babies, however you want to say it, and we get the urge. You see hot women dress like that, you get fired up. But yeah, absolutely. Miz got him a good catch there, but good for him.
But
I wouldn't want no French Canadian, but I would take her in a heartbeat. But I'm just saying, if I had choices, I wouldn't pick her. But she wouldn't be my number one. But I damn sure wouldn't turn it down if I was prompted with it. I'm like, okay, sure.
But he saw as Kevin Owens, wasn't too happy because they're continuing on that Sami Zayn feud that he has, which is good to me. Then they cut to the back, and this was, again, not shown. There was a lot of stuff not shown on Hulu that I didn't really know about, and I'm just now seeing. Renee is in the back. She's interviewing Becky Lynch. And then they showed the replay of last week, where Emma fought Becky Lynch and jabbed her in the eye and caused her to, and allowed her to beat her. And then all of a sudden, Dana Brooke, and we've mentioned Dana Brooke a time or two from NXT coming, and she actually made her Raw appearance. She attacked Becky Lynch from behind, her and Emma, and she let them know that E and D were there, and that there was no more playing around going to happen. So I guess there's going to be something with Becky Lynch feuding with Dana Brooke, which is good because Becky Lynch is a good wrestler, and Dana Brooke, is good. And then there was another. Did you see?
Emma, hold on. Emma, she's in some marvelous shape. Emma, she's in some really good shape, man. She's getting cut up like Rocky IV, man.
She's been training a lot, man.
Yeah, I'm proud of him. I like him. I appreciate that in her.
But that stupid dancing gimmick with Santino, though, man, you have to admit that was kind of.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love this new bad girl gimmick. Absolutely.
Black lipstick and the makeup flag. Yeah, she kind of reminds me of Paige.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, I know. She could be a Paige replacement if Paige gets in more trouble. Who knows?
You no longer anti-diva anymore. Did you see? And not cutting away from that. Did you see did they show on Hulu the Darren Young part? Because if not, because they showed that they showed. All right. Well, anyway, non-Hulu alert. I have to give you these because BulletB and I usually. I sometimes watch the regular Raw, but a lot of times if I'm busy or can't watch, I have to watch the Hulu version. And there's a lot.
But not to knock the Hulu. The Hulu version is great because it gets to the point. I can't sit through I don't know if I can sit through a 3-hour Raw, but what I do is I watch the Hulu version, then I go on WWE's YouTube channel and I watch the clips that I miss because they'll show you all the highlights and whatnot. But that's pretty much where I get my input. If it's relevant, it'll be on Hulu, and arguably. But so what did I miss again?
So it's Darren Young is shown taking a tape promo asking of all people, Mr. Bob Backlund to be his
They cut that? Oh, man, I love Bob.
And Backlund says, no, I will be your wrestling coach. And Young says that he doesn't need a wrestling coach but a life coach. And Backlund says that his first rule as a life coach is that wrestling is life. And it says that the tagline they're going to make Darren Young great again, which kind of plays off of Donald Trump's "We're going to make America great again" line. So they're kind of tagging off of that, though. But
Bob Backlund, Bret Hart, SummerSlam. I mean, not SummerSlam, but Survivor Series '94. Great match, man, because he put Bret in the chicken wing, and Bret didn't give up. But the ref had to call it, man, because Bret passed out, kind of like how Austin did. So Bret kind of passed out, and they had to give it to Bob Backlund. Then Bob Backlund, that's what it was, this crazy gimmick. But as far as athleticism goes, Backlund, Bret Hart, they had some of the best matches back in the day. And Bob Backlund was the 80s. I mean, he was before Hulk Hogan. He was the face of WWF or WWF before Hogan. You know,
right.
Well, it might have been WWF, but right before Hogan. Because he lost the title to the Iron Sheik because they threw the towel in. And then Hogan, because Backlund never gave up, they threw the towel in. And Iron Sheik won the title, and then Hogan came in and won it from the Iron Sheik. That way he didn't have to face Bob Backlund.
I don't get that. Hogan's done that twice, and I don't get that. Didn't he do that with Yokozuna? The thing with Yokozuna?
Oh, yeah, don't get me started on that one. But, yeah, this was because they didn't want Bob Backlund to lose to Hogan because they were both baby faces. So Iron Sheik got the belt off Backlund, then Hogan beat the Sheik a couple of months later. But Backlund never gave up, though. They threw the towel in because he had him in that kettlebell clutch for so long. And Backlund was just there, no selling. And they finally just threw the towel in. Like, well, fuck it, you know. But, yeah. Backlund's a trip, man. He was talking to JR on the podcast, the Ross Report, a couple months back, and Bob Backlund's like, dude, I want to get back into WWE. I want to wrestle full time. And JR said, are you serious? Are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm serious. I want to wrestle full time. And Jim Ross was like, you're in your 60s. I appreciate your heart. And I know you can do it because you're very athletic, but they're not going to put a 60-year-old man in the ring like that. You know, I mean, they did with Flair a decade ago, but
Flair
Backlund was ready for it, man. When Heath Slater was fighting all the legends a couple of years back, Bob Backlund was one of them, man. He was looking forward to that shit. He wants to come back.
I know, man, but he ain't been fighting consistently like Flair's been. You don't even see Flair fighting anymore. Flair's reduced down and following his daughter out to the ring. So
they had to. He's the same age as Vince McMahon. They had to. I mean, how far can you go? But he's already had it. Yeah, you don't want to see Flair wrestle anymore anyway because it takes away from his legacy. You know,
right.
That's what I always said about like Sinatra as far as music goes. I'm like, what he's singing in his in his late years, you know. But honestly, it didn't take away from his legacy. But it's just when the older you get, it's time to step down. Kind of like when Michael Jordan was on the Washington Wizards. You know, it's like just go away. You know, he's like, no, man, I love it. I'm like, no, man, go out on top. Go out on top.
Right, go on your own terms rather than going out. Somebody have to push you out. So.
Right.
So up next, we see Roman Reigns is backstage and the crowd. And this was an odd crowd. I talked to you about this last night when you and I were talking. It's just funny how that, which I know it was a different crowd, but it seemed like some of the crowd was dead that normally would boo, that you would typically see them booing him. And what that did was left the children and stuff being able to voice their opinion more so than typically the boos, because typically you hear boos all over the place, and you barely hear any cheers. Well, this time it was kind of a half and half, or maybe
I know. I was puzzled by that too, man. I was like, "Where's these positive reactions coming from? I don't like this. Where's this coming from?" I was like, "They must have more kids there tonight because it sounded like kids."
It was kids cheering, because when you would hear the "Let's Go Roman" chants, that was kids saying that, because because tonight's matchup was a 6-man tag elimination match, which meant when one person got pinned, they left the ring, and it was it could be anywhere between a 1-on-1 to a 3-on-1. So that's basically how it was. And with the Usos, and then Reigns was talking about family and blood and stuff like that.
It's the club versus the family.
Yes.
But the club is awesome. But since BulletB left, it's just the club now. But the club, they came out with their own theme music before AJ Styles came out. So I like the attire. I like the music. I think they all should just come out with that music for right now, while AJ's presumably with them for now. That'd be kind of cool. I'm just a Bullet club, Mark. I like to see. I think they could be as popular as the Shield. And I don't want to see them turn on AJ. I want them to stay baby faces right now because they're getting over with the crowd, and they could be the next Shield. But yeah, man,
that's not going to happen. No, you know that, because when Balor comes up, Finn Balor comes up. Like I told you last night, my feeling is that they're going to have Finn Balor, because when AJ left the Bullet Club, Finn Balor became the Bullet Club, and so he was the leader. So I think there's going to be a Balor Club reunion when Balor gets there, not necessarily right when he gets there, but maybe a month or a few weeks down the line, they're going to turn on AJ. Then, and that way AJ is still going to keep his music, and he's not going to use the Bullet Club music or the Good Brothers or the Club or whatever we want to call it.
That makes sense. Bringing up Balor, and he'll take AJ's spot and be like, I did what you couldn't do, and I don't have to take the high. Yeah, that makes sense. So there'll be a good heel faction. That'd be one of my favorites.
Balor was a good heel faction there, with the Bullet Club, Balor Club when AJ left it. So yeah, man, I think that's going to be a good idea. And that's what's going to bring new rivalries, dude. That's what I'm going to like when Finn comes up and he starts challenging like AJ, because he's not going to deal with a lot of the older guys. He's going to deal with those young guys coming in, which I like, because then you're going to have two different stories where you have like the guys like Cena and Randy Orton them fighting on one side, and you're going to have these young guys like AJ and Owens and Finn Balor and all them fighting, and the Usos and them fighting on the other. I kind of like this. There should be no reason their ratings should not within a month or two start to pick up a little bit, because now everybody's going to start getting used to these people. That's why it's so low right now, is because they're in the process of building these characters, which I do like.
Yeah.
That they're doing that now. So, yeah, man, I felt like that. But here's two people that they need to go ahead and release in this next matchup. Sin Cara came out to the ring with Kalisto to fight Rusev that had Lana. And remember, if nothing else, Lana, she was cutting more of the heel promo because, and for some odd reason, Rusev was not talking in his accent.
I was just gonna say that Rusev and Lana, they kind of dropped. They still got the little that they're still accents, but they're talking more English. You know, I noticed that, man, because like on WWE.com, they had some interviews with Lana and Rusev. Oh, I miss Layla, but and they were doing an interview with them, and I was like, man, they're talking out of character. That kind of happens though as the years go by. They kind of talk out of character eventually, depending on who it is. You know, kind of like Kofi Kingston. You know, I'm Jamaican mine. You know,
I know.
I don't like that either, but yeah.
I thought Rusev really talked like that. I didn't know that his accent wasn't fake because he sounded like he spoke perfect English when he talked because they were asking him a question about security cameras and something, and you know he was talking about in the house or whatever.
The worst case of that, in my opinion, is when Yokozuna turned babyface and he got rid of Jim Cornette because Jim Cornette was the spokesperson. He got rid of Jim Cornette, and he's like, hey, I could speak English all along. Jim Cornette was holding me down. I could speak English all along. I'm like, what? I felt cheated. I knew he could speak English anyway, but he always talked Samoan/Japanese. And because you listen to some of his, when he's in the ring, he's like, he's Samoan, but they're trying to say he's Japanese. But anyway, and then he just starts talking English. That was probably the worst. I was like, man, that's just like betraying the character or something. He was like, but Jim Cornette told me not to speak English. Yeah, you know. And but yeah, that might have been the worst case of it. You know, in my opinion, that comes to mind.
Silly, man. But anyway, in the matchup was basically a back and forth. Rusev basically dominating as you typically see him. Sin Cara had his few little high spots in it. But it says here the end come when Rusev signals for the end, and then Kalisto gets on the apron, and then Lana, she gets up on the apron. And then when the referee gets distracted, Kalisto kicks Rusev in the head as he tries to attack, and Sin Cara ends up rolling up Rusev for the pin. Wow, what do we see again? Another win? A roll-up win?
Roll-up finish. Number 2 of the night, probably.
Horrible. Yeah, horrible roll-up for a roll-up pin. But anyway, those two need to be released.
You can see it coming, especially in that Paige Charlotte match. When Paige had her back turned to Charlotte, you could tell Paige was waiting on Charlotte to come roll her up, and she kicked out, but you could tell she was waiting on her.
Yeah.
Charlotte was waiting on Paige. You can just tell, man. It's just not. It need to be quicker with that. But let me see.
Well, that's true, man. I mean, it looks too predictable now. You're going to have your roll-up pins. You know, that's how they did. Especially when we get into the elimination match, you see another one happen in the matchup. But yeah, it was a decent match. And then you see Rusev gets mad and he throws the ring steps at him, Lucha Dragons, and you know
temper tantrum.
Taunt, Rusev and Lana, and then all of a sudden you see the next final for the elimination match is up next, folks, and is between don't forget to show another vignette of Primo, the Shining Stars.
Because we don't know nothing about islands, you know. We just don't know. Yeah.
It's like Carlito, man. It looks like Carlito all over again. You know?
Yeah, they don't know it.
Remember when Carlito came out? He was in the islands, and I don't think this is cool. I don't mess with you cool. You know, and stuff. Yeah. And they were in the islands. Well, Epico and Primo are doing pretty much that same gimmick. So we'll see how they go when they come back, because that's how come poor little El Torino got
released. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to repackage them, and Los Matadores wasn't going anywhere. So
yeah, I knew that, dude. I knew they weren't going to go anywhere when they first started, because I was like, dude, that's Primo and Epico. Kind of like what Joe Henning, man. He should keep that name, not Curtis Axel. Right. Yeah, when he was Curtis Axel, I said, that ain't going to work. And same thing with Primo and Epico when they change their names like that. But yeah, so they just going back to who they were, I guess. But now the main event, well, it was one of, I guess, like the midway.
I would have called that the main event more so.
Yeah, me too, because it was the 6-man tag. They always have a 6-man tag, but these are ones I care about. And you remember a couple of years back, the best 6-man tags were the ones with the Shield and whatnot in it. But now it's the Club and the family, you call them, Reigns and the Usos. But yeah, man, really good match, elimination tag match. It just came down to AJ and Roman, and they had a little back and forth, and they were going to beat up Roman with the chair, and AJ was kind of conflicted with it. He's like, well, I don't know, I used to take the high road, and and he threw the chair at Roman. He's like, you hit me with it, and stuff like that. Then he was trying to do the flying forearm at Roman Reigns, a little back and forth there, and AJ Styles walks away, and the crowd boos because he walked away, which I don't like that. But Roman Reigns is the top baby face, so I get that.
That wasn't the
that's just me generalizing that.
Yeah,
but it was a very good match, very good elimination match. It always comes down to a one-on-one, so it's all good. Telling the story. It
wasn't too bad, man. I like the Club with Anderson and Gallows. From watching their match, even though it was one of the pins got our stupid 2 roll-up pins was involved in the match. It was 2 roll-ups, not 1. I remember when they rolled it, because remember as soon as they hit Jimmy or Uso, Anderson did. Is Anderson the short one or the tall one?
I think he's a tall one, I believe.
Okay, when he hit Jimmy.
No, Luke Gallows. Luke Gallows is the tall one.
Gallows. Okay. When Gallows was on his outside, I remember.
Straight Edge Society. Mr. Fungus, what was his name? Festus.
He was Festus back when he was by himself, and
then CM Punk. Yeah, then CM Punk got him off the pills and put him in a Straight Edge Society, and that's why he was different, because he was on pills before. So
because it was funny.
Yeah, made sense.
Who was that was with Festus back when he was like that? You remember he'd stare into space, and then all of a sudden he started wrestling?
I know you're talking about, but I can't think of his name. That wasn't the gay wrestler, was it? That might have been somebody else. But there was a gay hillbilly wrestler that was on the roster.
No, that was you talking about the one that was with there was the Murdoch.
Yeah, Murdoch. Yeah, Murdoch. That wasn't Murdoch. Okay, that was with Festus.
But Jay was thrown into the rope. Remember, and Gallows hit him, and then and Anderson rolled him up, but he grabbed the tights. So there was one roll up there. Then you seen later on when Gallows was laughing and joking, and Jimmy come back in the ring. Jimmy all of a sudden did an inside cradle and rolled him up. That was another one. There you go, another roll up. And he got pinned just like that. As much as they were fighting, all of a sudden he just gets rolled up out of nowhere.
It's quick booking, man. It's not Survivor Series type booking. It's just quick booking.
Yeah, and odd enough is then we come back from a commercial. Now Jimmy's gone. Jimmy gets eliminated by AJ during a commercial break. By the phenomenal forearm, and then it's 2-on-1. Then Roman basically takes out Gallows, and then it's Roman and him. And I like that it was those two left. I like the fact that they went at each other hard. Those look like, even though AJ's short, they look like they're competitive towards each other. You know what I'm saying? Because very rarely do you see AJ look like a rag doll getting thrown around by Roman, the bigger, muscular guy. But I think AJ fits in really well with Roman to feud with him. And I think the crowd's reaction was a little bit different than what maybe perception was. See, I respect what you were saying. I understood where you could see that being out here as far as him kind of. I just felt like he took a step back because he saw that Roman, he felt like Roman was going to take the low road and hit him with the chair. And he wasn't going to be a part of it. And he wasn't going to be jumping there with Roman with the chair. And that's why he was telling him when he was standing outside the ring as he was backing up, he was like, I'm taking the high road. I see how you're doing. I'm not going to get in there. I'm going to take your title. To me, I felt like it was just he wasn't going to get involved in it, and the whole purpose was to him trying to prove that Roman was going to be the one that needed to use some sort of assistance than he was. You know, I think that was the whole purpose of that.
Yeah.
But it was good, man. I thought
I love that multi-tag. But okay, jumping to the main event, Big Cass Jericho. Jericho was making his entrance, and who was in the jacket? It was Dean Ambrose. And to be honest with you, this is when I stopped watching Raw. I just went ahead and I saw I had 10 minutes left, and I just turned it off because Dean Ambrose is very talented and everything, but I'm just not feeling this storyline with Chris Jericho. They're fighting over a plant, a jacket, and stuff. I just don't care. So I was like, okay, I saw the 6-man tag. Got 10 minutes left on Hulu. I just turned it off. So you could comment on that. What, did I miss anything?
Well, no, let me just back up a second, because there was a tag team match between the New Day
and the Dudleys. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And they were fighting against each other, and out of nowhere, the Vaudevillains come out.
Now, let me comment on that. I do like the Vaudevillains. When they say we're from a forgotten era where men were around and class and hard work, and I completely agree with that as an old school fanboy myself. I just wouldn't have went with a 30s gimmick. I would have went with a 50s gimmick, you know, the good stuff. But yeah, I like the Vaudevillains, man. They're really cool. Big fanboy.
I think they are too. I get the gimmick. They say a lot of people may not get it when they were talking about.
Well, they should, man. That's a history lesson, man. That's when talent in America was first coming up, and they were showing off all this talent. It kind of just reminds me of the Three Stooges a little bit, which they were extremely talented back in the day. But that's when natural talent was revolutionizing America. Just like with Sinatra and popular music. Popular music built America, and them old gimmicks, them old entertainers like that, the Vaudevillains are trying to portray. That's what built America. You know, as far as entertainment goes, that's why I like the Vaudevillains.
Yeah,
I get it. That's cool.
Yeah, well, AJ. I believe what is it? AJ English. EJ English, the pasty white guy. Well, they said he was basically a musical actor to begin with before he became a wrestler. So that's how come
like a Broadway guy.
Broadway, yeah, there you go. Broadway. Yeah, so he was kind of into that. But the match was a decent match until the Vaudevillains went out, and then they started attacking Xavier Woods, and then Kingston ends up getting clothesline with Devon and them for the win. So Dudley boys end up picking up the win here. This is going to further the Vaudevillains basically feuding with the New Day for the tag titles. So this enhances their storyline, which is good because and just a quick note on this, I do like the fact that they're enhancing the storylines now, and it's making it wanting to keep going on and on rather than just like, why did this happen? Why did it happen? But anyway, like you said, the Big Cass Jericho match never happened. Jericho's music hits, the lights go out, Jericho's out there, and then all of a sudden you see some moving around, and then you see Jericho's jacket. Somebody else puts Jericho's jacket on, like you said. Lo and behold, it was Dean Ambrose. Why is Dean Ambrose doing this? Because last week, remember, Stephanie counseled the Ambrose Asylum.
And brought back the highlight reel.
Brought back the highlight reel. And Jericho took me, which was Dean Ambrose's plant that he had liked, and he bashed it over Jericho bashed it over Dean Ambrose's head. So this week, the very thing that Jericho cheers, which is that $15,000 lighted jacket, he ends up going out to the ring, and he all of a sudden starts taking it and cutting and ripping apart, beating it, ripping it, cutting it, ripping the wires out of it, everything, making Jericho ecstatic at him and angry at him and telling him, and he's going to pay for it. And Ambrose cuts it up and everything. And to me, that was pretty funny. It didn't have to, because to me, and like you said, you turn it off, because really for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes, dude, this is no lie, 5 minutes, it just showed Ambrose standing on the ramp. He not doing nothing. And you kept hearing Jericho yelling, I'm going to get you. You're going to pay for this.
Yeah, it's not even Ambrose. It's Jericho, man. I just get tired of seeing Jericho. I don't care about this storyline. I'm glad it's happening for Dean's sake because he's going to put Dean Ambrose over. That's good. It just feels like a kid's storyline. You know, they had a rest in peace graphic to the plant. I mean, I'm just not feeling it, dude. Well, I got too much attitude era in me sometimes, you know. But I did grow up with PG WWF, to be fair, because it was PG in the 80s and the 90s before the attitude era. But I'm just not feeling it, man. The plant and the jazz, I just don't. I wasn't going to waste 10 minutes of my life. Yeah, I just turn it off. I seen what I wanted to see.
Yeah, they basically just to further along the storyline from what happened last week to continue on the whole Jericho Dean Ambrose feud that they're going to have upcoming at Extreme Rules. But you know, and then it cuts to the back and shows Stephanie and Shane, and they're talking about what a good thing how they were. They were joking about Jericho's jacket and how well they might have worked together. And then they're like, Stephanie joked and said, well, maybe we should do an episode of Ride Along together. And then Shane kind of jokes and laughs back and says, not yet, you know. And then he walks off. He gets a phone call, and he walks out. And then Stephanie picks up the picture of Vince and Shane when he was a little boy and just looks at it, and she's just smiling at it. And then she puts it back down, and then after that, it shows Jericho and Ambrose, and then he walks off. So that was your Raw review for this past week. But I do have the Raw ratings in, folks. I know
nothing but the details here, but go ahead.
Always exciting about the Raw ratings.
Yeah,
I had it here. I had it. Oh, I didn't excite the wrong thing, did I?
Anticipation. What's the rating? I don't even know.
No, I did have it down here too. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Let me get it right here because I don't want to. I accidentally went out of the wrong one. There we go. This week's fans, this is Bill Mack here with your weekly Raw rating. This week's WWE Raw drew an average viewing of 3.2 million viewers on the USA Network, which is an average less than 194,000 from the week prior. Hour 1 did 3.345 million. Hour 2 done 3.35 million. And Hour 3, of course, always goes down, went 3.0 million. So we saw almost 200,000 lost viewers between the second and third hour, which you and I always say that third hour is what?
That 3-hour format's killing it, dude. They get more revenue that way. But yeah,
you always lose that third hour. Lose that third hour.
They get more ad revenue that way, but it's hurting the rating. So I guess it's a good sacrifice. I don't know, a good trade, I guess. But anyway, that's all I got to say for WWE this week. Cameron, she got released too, but nobody cares. She had it was funny because like the day before she got released, she had a little Twitter rant herself or ran on social media, and then she got released as well. But she never really caught on, man, because she was pinning people wrongly. We should say opposite. She tried to pin somebody that were like, it's just
she just couldn't wrestle. I mean, Naomi, whenever with the
she's hot. Yeah, I hate to see her go because I thought she was really hot, but you know she got a boyfriend anyway, so who cares? Bye bye.
With the
he said, "Girl out, girl out."
I know, that's what I'm saying. She just couldn't do it, even when she was on Total Divas. She just didn't click with everything, and Naomi has become a wrestler, and she wrestles, and so you see her, but Cameron just never did that. She never pushed herself to become a wrestler.
I don't think her heart was into it.
Yeah, very true.
She wasn't a fan either because she asked the trainers who was Stone Cold Steve Austin. She wasn't a fan growing up, and I think you kind of have to be a fan growing up to have that heart and passion for it, rather than just a job, you know. Because it's a very tough business, a very tough job to be a performer like that, and you got to have it in your heart to do something like that. You got to know the business like Kevin Owens knows it. You know, you got to know all the little heel tactics and stuff. You got to grow up with it, man, to be really good at it, in my opinion. John Cena, for example, boo. Him and his dad grew up watching WWF, so you know, you just got to grow up watching it to really have it in your heart. Right. Unless you just see it instantly and like, oh shit, I like that. But that's just how I feel about it. You know. Yeah,
because Flair's daughter did that. You know, she's only been wrestling like 2 or 3 years. You know, I mean,
she was at WCW. She was on WCW Nitro a long time ago. She was in the background with Flair. I think she was like a teenager back then, but she was there.
Yeah, she had a real name too.
Yeah. But I think that's it, man.
Yeah, man. Glad we got back and knocked it out again. We were off last week, but glad we're back in this. And like I said, just a keynote. If next few weeks, BulletB may be having to anchor TeamB. I don't know. Have some things might be going on, so I may not be able to get on. If so, BulletB will take care of it and bring you all the raw rating for and raw review for TeamB. So be on the lookout for that if you don't see TeamB. We'll be back as soon as he can.
Yeah. So. Yeah, take care, Bill, on your farewell if you happen to go. And I'll definitely make sure I make this show continue on with all the good stuff that it gives out, you know, that it showcases.
Yeah, I'm about to do a Kevin Castle and call in if nothing else.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
But
I'll just talk about Raw generally and tell stories, man. I do the wrestling soup approach. I don't do all. You're more like Jason. You give all the details. I'm more like Don Tony. I just go over what I remember and talk about the news and stuff. You talk about the news too, but you know what I mean. But that's why we're a good combination. You know?
Of course.
I do the best I can. Actually, Don Tony does a lot of research. Yeah, I'll do my Don Tony research, and maybe I could talk about Hogan suing Gawker again. Maybe I don't know. He's gonna be dead by the time he gets that. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I was friends with the Macho Man. Me and the Macho Man made up, brother. Yeah, right. You know, be a man, Hogan. All right, take care, guys. If you would like, share, if nothing else, subscribe to us, help the channel grow. If you don't mind, because we love getting subscribers and we love hearing from you. We love getting any comments. Always love hearing from you, and we really appreciate it.
Drop us a like.
Yeah, or dislike, you know, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, sub to us. If you don't like us, sub anyway.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Right. Take care, guys.
All right, guys. Later.